Today's little video is on my phone, and it's going to be BurrowTale Gaster. So I had come up with the idea for Gaster and everything. I knew that Gaster was still going to be part of the underground. That he hadn't been, he hadn't died, essentially, hadn't jumped into the, hadn't, jumped in the core, all that stuff. He is the royal scientist, King Asgore still. In this, he is the creator and technical father of Sans and Papyrus, and he works with Alphys, teaching them as his assistant. He is a very no-nonsense, hard-working monster to a fault. He'll get so invested into his projects that he won't sleep, and there have been multiple times that Alphys has found him asleep at his desk in the lab, and has had to ask Sans or Asgore to help move him to his home in the den. There were times where others would hear him seemingly talking to himself, but it was like he was talking to someone else there, even though it was just him. When given something or someone new to study, he would hyperfixate on it for weeks, months even, with some things. Before the monsters were forced into the underground, when they coexisted with the humans on the surface, he worked as a scientist and a doctor, along with Niku, who was Crystal's father. He helped make medicines for both humans and monsters, and would use Niku's healing magic as a main component. After being forced into the underground, he began focusing on making it easier to live down there, making the core as a source of energies for the monsters to use. He also spent time studying the barrier, soon finding out what was needed to break it. When Crystal arrived, he immediately wanted to research her and her soul. After finding that it was a fusion between both a monster and human soul, he decided to start doing some tests on it, mainly wanting to find out if it would be enough to break the barrier. Though there were times that his hunger for knowledge got the better of him, leaving Crystal exhausted and tired after hours of him poking and prodding at her soul. After the burrow was made, he worked with Chris to find a cure for the lilioxin, which is the sickness, the gas that the humans poured into the underground, and soon was able to help use Chris's healing magic to make medicines that would heal the sickness. After moving to the burrow, he was still able to go up to the underground if he needed to, as the lilioxin didn't fully affect him like it did the other monsters, given he is a skeleton and doesn't exactly need to breathe. He first focused on the core, figuring out a way to tunnel further beneath it to lead the energy that it produced down to the burrow, but it was only temporary, as with them digging further underground, they found more ores and metals that could be used. And after just about half a year of being down in the burrow, Gaster had managed to essentially make a better core, one that gave energy production to the burrow without needing to be constantly cooled, one that could be easier monitored and wasn't as much of a hazard, I guess, to have. He also made blueprints for those in Drifttown, which is essentially the new Snowden. He also made blueprints for those in Drifttown to make snowmakers, which were the main cooling components for the section. And they're essentially just little machines that take water and freeze it. They take water, freeze it, they're set up essentially all around Drifttown, and they make it into, they helped make it into a winter wonderland. And so there was a little sketch of a couple different characters first, because I didn't know what I was drawing, but then I decided to draw Gaster. First I had the eye the original way, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for the mouth. Wanted to give glasses, wanted to do the little hands by him. I went through a couple different I went through a couple different colors with the vest, the sweater that he has beneath it, and his lab coat, because I was like, oh, I could do just the gray and white, or gray and black, but I wanted to do something different. So it's kind of a brownish vest, and if you will notice, he only has the one scar on the left side on his eye. The line that generally goes from his, in the originals, the line that goes from his right eye down to his mouth is not there. And that is because I thought that most of those scars would have come from the core. Because the story is that he disappeared and jumped into the core, essentially. So this scar that he has, I was going to do him with no cracks at all, but I did have an idea. So one scar, that scar is still there, though it's from something different, but he doesn't have the other scar. So he gets very focused on his work. He gets very focused, very, what's the word? Very hyperfixated on it. When he has something to work on, or when something new pops up, he hyperfixates on it, and he wants to figure out everything, anything and everything there is about the new thing before he is kind of done with it. So, yeah, there's today's little BurrowTale thing. Again, if you want to see more BurrowTale stuff, if you want to see more work, I might do some more drawing, I might get some drawings done. And if you want to read more BurrowTale stuff, let me know. Hop into the Discord server, and from there, you can give yourself the BurrowTale role in the Self Rolls channel, and you can check it out. But till then, I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.